So here we are at the Star Wars premiere. I'm here with King, that you cannot not actually see. There he goes. We're all dressed up for the premiere of Star Wars. This is Star Wars, right?
No, it's Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Awesome. There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? Hi again, I'm Ryan, your host for the Star Toast. So I saw Star Wars The Force Awakens last night, and it's only fitting that I review Star Wars Episode 7 in my 7th episode. So Star Wars, how was it? It's good! So J.J. Abrams did it, along with a fantastic cast and a fantastic practical effects team. I repeat, practical effects team. Right off the bat, I'm not going to spoil anything, and for now, spoiler free. I promise. We'll do with spoilers later, but for now there's a lot to talk about. Now the movie feels safe, both PG safe and fan safe. It pushes no boundaries, but does give us more of what we want, which is the feel of the classic trilogy. The Star Wars universe is back, and it feels big. It feels like the full Star Wars universe, and we're only seeing a little story that's trundling through the middle. The movie's not trying to explain everything to us. It's not trying to build a universe, because it's already built. We've had 6 movies, or fine, 3 movies, 3 good movies, in which they've told us all these stories, and they've set up everything. So no, we don't need all that. We can just watch our new characters that have been handed over from all our old characters, who we don't need even more stories from them, because they've already been told in 3 movies. Again, that's not a complaint. That's good. That's a good thing. Speaking of said characters, we have John Boyega as Finn, who does a fantastic job of being the panicky, totally lost, relatable character who's intimidated by this big new world, who's afraid, but yet who's surprisingly courageous, especially for Rey. Courageous for Rey. Not that she needs saving or anything, because, again, they've created another big, strong female character. Well, not big, she's not big, but, you know, she's a strong female character. Rey herself is the closest we've got to a Luke Skywalker in this series. Stuck on a desert planet, goes off on a big journey, totally out of her element, but completely capable. Kylo Ren, one of my new favorite villains, his voice made the movie for me. Not with his helmet on. Later on you see him with the helmet off and his voice isn't that good, but once he's got the helmet on, he's got the voice emulator that's not too harsh. It's almost like Batman in the Batman v Superman thing. But especially in the theater, the pitch and the pops of that voice really made him a good villain. I couldn't get enough of hearing his voice. He was a great villain because he's a very human villain compared to the gods of the old Star Wars series. He's much younger, more angry. He's got so much more struggle than we've seen before, and he's so unrefined. And him emulating Darth Vader so much in his look and everything, it totally makes sense because it's to do with the story. You'll watch the movie and you'll know. Kylo Ren's helmet too looks really neat. It's a nice homage to Vader. After a while of staring at it, it's such like a poker face that is really intimidating, because you can't tell what the hell he's thinking behind that until you hear him speak. And it's usually something really quippy, which I kind of like for a villain. And that helmet must be air conditioned, because when he takes that thing off, his hair is immaculate. And I know I'd be sweating like a bantha. I just look like a wet Wookiee. I'm told I look like Kylo Ren. I don't know, it's not the hair, it might be the... I don't know if it's a compliment or not. They mentioned the Knights of Ren in this movie too, and I really want to see more of that. The Knights of Ren just sound really badass. In the theater too, you really got that sense of the power of the Force with the music and the sound and the bass. Especially when Kylo Ren does stuff like... Han Solo, of course. We can't talk about Star Wars without talking about Han Solo. It's always a joy to see Harrison Ford back in action with Chewbacca. And it's fantastic to see him just spouting all his old dialogue and looking so happy to be back in Star Wars. Even though there's one shot, I think you see it in one of the trailers too, where he's coming out of rubble, ready to shoot his gun. And I call it the get off my lawn shot. Kind of comes out like, yeah, stormtroopers on my lawn. BB-8, our new droid, our new soccer ball droid. This little FIFA droid, I was afraid they were trying to replace R2-D2. Well, they are, kind of, but they needed the new droid that could keep up with him. I mean, he's designed really well. He can move when there's a lot of running to do in this movie, and he can keep up. An attitude, he's got much more of a dialogue. His sound effects, other than just a beep boop, they're more tonal, and because he's so mobile and his head moves, he can emote like crazy. And within the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, okay, I'm sold on BB-8. Seriously, if you want a gift for your girlfriend, buy him a little BB-8. It's the Wally of Star Wars. Finn and BB-8 too, there's some of the funniest stuff in the movie. I mean, together, it's a lot of funny things in this movie, but those two really did play off each other, and it's a droid, I mean, it's a puppet. And we also have Captain Phasma. Now, Phasma is everywhere, in every piece of merchandise, in every poster, she is in it. In the movie, no, she's not in it. It's not spoiling anything to tell you that she really wasn't utilized very well in the movie, which is a shame because she's a fantastic character played by Gwendoline Christie. Everyone already loves her as the Boba Fett of this series, but really she's not in it. And I wanted to see more of her shiny chrome glory. The chair, the torture chair, got more screen time than Captain Phasma. Now, as much as this movie feels like a retread of the originals, I'm not going to complain about that because it's what we want. New generation could watch this movie and understand what Star Wars is. They don't have to sit down and watch 6 movies to get it. It does feel like the story's done a complete circle around and become a reboot rather than a sequel. But to springboard off into a new trilogy, I don't mind that. And because it is everything I remember, everything old that is now new again, I can forgive it as a Star Wars fan a lot easier than I could another movie. I mean, like every movie, it has moments where you're like, whoa, wait, hang on, whoa, that's way too much of a coincidence. But then someone in Star Wars would just be like, oh, it's the will of the Force did it. And we can forgive all that. If we can forget all the flaws that were in the original, we can forgive these ones. And there are a lot of flaws, but then that makes them endearing. When you can make a Star Wars movie this funny and this much fun, then you can't complain. You just gotta sit back and have a good time with it. This is an emotional movie that's gonna hit Star Wars fans. There were moments, I had so many tingles in this movie of excitement and joy. And yes, there are some very dramatic moments that you can kind of see coming a mile away, but that just makes you feel smart and be like, aha, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. In the end, you're going to have fun with it. It's Star Wars. Go see it. It's a theatrical experience. Go see it in the theater. Like they said, everything old is new again. And has definitely rekindled my love of Star Wars. Not that it was dead in the first place, but it definitely took a blow after the prequels. Not anymore! It's back! Now, I wouldn't do this normally for this kind of movie, but because it's Star Wars, I'm going to have to give it my highest rating, which is a full cheers. It's not as effective without a cup, is it? So Star Wars The Force Awakens, I give you a toast. Cheers. The folly of Leia hair. You cannot get your 3D goggles on.